up guys, I'm Ian.
And I'm Ivy,
and this is Double I. Today we're at Gertrude's Children's Hospital where we're going to be meeting a children's counselor.
And she's going to tell us how it feels like to be a children's counselor and how to deal with stress in children.
Hope you learn as much as we do and enjoy. Yippee!
Today we are at Gertrude's Hospital where we are seeing a children's counselor. Kindly introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Ivy and Ian, for having me on this show. So I'm Brenda Kimemi. I'm a play therapist and counselor at Gertrude's Children's Hospital. This is my 5th year here, and I studied psychology and child development, focusing on child therapy.
October was World Mental Health Awareness Month. We recently came to learn that children get stressed. How do you deal with stress in children?
Okay. So children get stressed because of different reasons. So in order for you to know how to help them, you need to know the reason. One would be a major life change. I know this year has had so many changes because many children are not in school. Some parents had to stay for many months working far away from their kids because at the time when the lockdown happened, they were maybe not at home. Another thing is unmet needs. So sometimes some children may lack their basic needs, whether it's food or shelter or clothing, that can cause stress in kids. So how we help, first of all, to listen to the children, because sometimes kids also have a voice and sometimes they're not listened to, so they carry all that burden inside of them. So through talking, through sharing, they get to bring out what is within them, and when they do that, other people can know how to support them. And another way we help kids who are stressed out is by educating the parents. We get the parents to learn more about their children, what it is that could be affecting them and how it's showing up in their behavior. And through that, they know how best to support their kids. Then another thing we do a lot is also art and play therapy.
Okay. And how does art help with stress?
Art is very, very powerful for younger kids because it's one avenue through which they communicate. Younger kids may not have the words to say, how to express their thoughts, to express what they are feeling. They may not know what to say, but when they are put in an environment where they can do art, whether it's drawing, they can draw their thoughts, whether it's painting, they can paint out their emotions, whether it's even doing things like using collages, like they use papers and make different art forms. So it kind of gets them to do something about their emotion, put it out on paper or put it out through dancing, because art also can be dancing, music, storytelling. All those are different ways, different art forms. But most of the time when we think of art, we think of drawing, but there are also those other things like dancing, like music, like sculpting. Those are also art forms. So it really is a good way of bringing out people's thoughts, children's thoughts, their emotions, and it's fun and it gets them to feel good about themselves. So it's a really, really powerful way to get kids to cope better with stress.
What is stress?
So stress is the pressure that can be pressure that one may feel, and at times this pressure could be as a result of a major life change or unmet needs. So it's that pressure, or that it's an emotion, and that emotion makes one to feel like there's too much, there's more than they can handle at that moment. So that feeling of this is more than I can take is stress. And stress doesn't always have to be a bad thing. At times you can have some good stress, like let's say you're running very fast, and then in that running very fast you win a race. Huh? You know that tension you feel before you do a race, like I really want to do this well. So that way it kind of like energizes you to run faster because that tension is there. But at times it can also be harmful when it's too much, and it can make someone feel overwhelmed and feel like they can't handle it, and feel extremely tired, or feel even very afraid, or feel like they can't handle what's happening. Yeah.
Why would they feel afraid because of stress?
Sometimes when we have a lot of things which are happening to us, let's say you're about to do an exam, you're studying, but maybe you feel like you've not studied enough, you're not ready for the exam, so you may feel a bit of fear because it's like, oh gosh, I may fail this exam. What if I fail? What will happen next? What will maybe dad say? Like, I really wanted to pass this test. So at times that pressure of I really want to do this well can make me feel afraid.
You said that the art is for little children. Is there other ways to cope with stress if you're bigger than us?
Yes, in fact, art is for everyone. Even adults do art for everyone. Like I even sometimes draw color, so it's for everyone. But there are other things we could do with older children and teens. And apart from art, which is also there, would be just talking about various things. Then we also do like role plays. So role plays is where you like act. Like I can act out a scene. So I'll pretend to be my mom. Then I'll talk the way my mom talks. And then that will help me kind of like understand and make sense of that issue. Then sometimes we also do games, like board games or card games with teens, because that can be also fun. And in the process of doing those games, they also learn, oh, I can also do this when I'm anxious, or I can also do this when I'm stressed, so that I can calm down and also be able to focus. It doesn't get to a point where I feel like I can't handle it or I feel overwhelmed.
Wait, infants can get stressed.
Yes, infants can get stressed. I know it's not something that people think about, but they do. And many times for infants, it's because of unmet needs. Let's say they are very hungry and they've not been fed for a long time. So that can make them feel like, hi, what's going on? And they can start crying, they can become restless, they can get, something small they won't be able to calm down because now their needs are not being met. Or let's say if they are used to having their mother around and then their mother goes away, so that can make them stressed because they really want to be the person they know for the younger ones, so that may make them stressed. And many times for infants, they'll show it through crying.
How do you deal with stress in infants?
Okay. Stress in infants is primarily, the main thing is just to get the person who takes care of the child to understand the needs of their child. Because the needs of a child, they need to be given food, they need to be changed. If it's hot, they need to be cooled down. If it's cold, they need to be kept warm. So help them understand their child, that this is what your child would need. And sometimes when they're crying or they're not eating or when they're not doing things that they should, you can help them notice what could be lacking that you could give them. And sometimes they also need to be held. That close contact is really important for infants and younger children. So when you're not, that presence really is important, especially if you're the main person who stays with your child. So they get used to you, so they form an attachment. So once they have that bond, they really want to be near you, and that makes them feel good.
What lessons do you have to take to become a counselor?
Lessons. Okay, I did a degree in psychology, However, we also have diplomas. You can do a diploma in counseling or a diploma in counseling psychology. Primarily, those are the main ones. Sometimes you can have specialized courses. Like right now, we are about to start a course on a higher diploma in child counseling. So maybe if someone did a basic diploma or degree in psychology or in counseling, they can now specialize in child counseling.
Children were traumatized during the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you tell when they're stressed? Do you use the parents, the guardians, and what has been your experience?
Yes, COVID-19 has been a very different year, and one of the things that can cause stress are major life changes. And this year, some of the things that could have caused some children's stress would be the fact that they are not in school, they are not meeting their friends, they are not allowed to go play outside with their friends, they don't get to do the things they were used to. So now all these many changes can make them feel sad or make them feel afraid. And the fear can come in also because they've had people get sick and some even die because of COVID. And that makes them feel stressed because they are not sure what will happen tomorrow. Maybe something bad will happen to their mom, maybe their mom may get sick, or maybe now I'll never talk to my friend, and I like it when my mom comes home and I can jump on her, and now when she comes home she has to go and shower and do all those things. She doesn't want to touch me, she doesn't want to hug me immediately. I can't be as free as I used to be. So all that can make a child feel overwhelmed because now they don't get to do the things they used to enjoy, the things that made them feel loved, the things that made them feel safe. So that for some has made them anxious. So what we do really do encourage, first of all, is to help kids understand, okay, why are we making so many changes? It's because there's this new virus that could cause illness, and we really want to make sure many people don't get sick. So we are doing what we can, and sometimes the things we have to do may be a bit hard, like keeping distance, like washing your hands, like staying away from school. But once children understand, okay, it's because of this virus and it won't be there forever, the doctors are trying to find a cure, the doctors are trying to find a vaccine. So at least you know that, okay, one day things will go back to the way they were. So that will give them that hope that things will change. But also that awareness, okay, this is what is happening now, and this is why I can't hug my grandma. This is why I can't go be with, yeah. So just that awareness, and also just that knowing that people are doing what they can, the adults, the government, healthcare professionals are doing what they can to make sure things go back to being to having more freedom for people to play, especially kids to go back to school and to continue hugging everyone and touching each other. But for now, we are doing what we can to make sure no one gets sick. And then get fun things to do. Okay, now you're not in school, what can you do at home? I like that you've created a channel and you're making granola bars. I think that's amazing. That's something really good to do. So other things, I know my niece has learned how to make bags. She sews bags, and she learned it this time. So there are new things you can learn, there are fun things you can do. So I say use your time, discover new things. You can ask mom to teach you how to cook, how to bake, or learn how to cycle. So as much as, yes, there are some things you don't get to do, but there's some more things you can get to do, which will still be fun and will still make you enjoy this time, because it's a special time. It's a special time, and one day it will end. So you want to look back and say, oh, I had so much fun, I used to sew, or I had so much fun, we used to make granola bars, So learn something new that you can have fun doing. Yeah.
What advice do you have for the children aspiring to be counselors?
Counselors should have a heart to help people. So if you know you really like helping people who have challenges or have difficulties, yeah, you can consider it. Then yeah, it's good to work hard. Part of being a counselor is understanding human beings, so you may need to understand how the body, the mind works, the brain works. So it's good to keep studying, being your best at that, and having that heart to help people.
And finally, who's a counselor?
A counselor is a professional who helps people solve their problems or work or find a safe space to share their thoughts and emotions and learn to cope better with changes that are happening in their lives.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
A counselor is someone who helps other people deal with their stress. She's taught us today that a way to deal with stress is, for example, art. There's also board games and card games.
Hope you learned as much as we did. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, click the post notification bell to be notified when we post new videos. Bye!